Hey folks, welcome back for another show this week. I think we're going to make it a regular thing. I'm joined here by Johnny and Darryl. So what I'll do is I'll get them to tell them a bit about themselves, where you can find them and stuff, and then we'll get on with the show sort of thing as we speak. So Darryl, you go away there first while I pour myself a beer.
Nice, nice. Hey, Paul. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Paul. My name is Darryl Shurgin. I'm in Long Island, New York, and I am Quest4vape on YouTube.
What are you vaping on tonight, Darryl?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got my IPv4S with the Avocado 24 on it, and
Nice.
I also have the Smoke HPriv with the TFV4 micro tank on there. And I'm probably vaping on a lot more stuff than that, but that's all I'll mention. I don't want to hog the time. And I believe you will be familiar with this one, Confections e-liquid, Fetty Pop. That's an awesome strawberry. What is that? Strawberry
liquid crack.
Yeah.
We call it liquid crack cocaine because it's addictive.
So good, so good. Can't get enough of that. And then I'm also vaping on Mazer Vape's Blueberry Cheesecake. Let me grab that and show that to the camera. I go through this about 120 mils of this every 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
So
I'm
good.
getting a bottle on my next order.
So good. Drop it down to 1.5 nicotine and feel free to vape that up to 200 watts. The juice holds up.
Happy days. Johnny, what about you?
How's it going, lad? So, yeah, thanks for having me on again, Paul. It's nice to meet you. Darryl. Yeah, so I'm from Vape Reviews down in Belfast. Tonight, I was really excited to get the Kangaroo drip box in stainless steel. Look at that shiny
Nice.
mother mofo. 160 watts. I haven't used the actual standard RDA on it yet, which has a velocity style deck as opposed to the previous one, because the Tsunami 24 comes with a squonk pin, so a hollow 510 pin, so I had to get that to go onto it. And in that at the minute I've got Charlie's Chalk Dust Slamberry. Ooh, tasty.
Awesome.
And then I'm also on my Avocado 24 on my IPP4S. With some, again, Charlie's Chalk Dust, Honey Badger.
Nice.
So,
Sweet.
been on a real Charlie's Chalk Dust thing this last couple of days. It just was like, I haven't tried this before. It's very nice. I'll buy all of it.
I haven't had Charlie's since Vape Fest last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You should get up to ours. We have it on offer at the minute.
We've got it in the shop too, a few of them, but I just have that much juice at the minute. I'm like, I can't justify buying any more at the minute. I'm coming
You
down with
always
stuff.
justify buying more.
No, seriously, I'm coming down with stuff. So, but anyway, what am I vaping on? The Lychee on the new RX, and in that I have some Blue Raz by Blue. I've also got the Avocado 24. Seems to be like the reviewer's staple at the minute. On my
It's just that
IPv5, this is it. And then I've got some Blue Straw Cherry. I'm on with Theorem with some more Blue, it's the Green Apple. And my drip box with some juice Miss Sarkaz sent over to me the other day. The carrot cake, it's awesome. So,
Cool.
what new toys have
it's
you
like a
played with?
Avocado 24 night.
Yep. Let's all vapor avocados right now.
I promise we didn't coordinate that. I just
No.
I actually just re-wicked it this morning, and wow, what a coincidence. And how about that? Johnny's got it on his IPv4S too. What a nice matchup, though. I love that.
You know it.
Just so
I love
funny.
it.
It's alright. I'll play with the new. I'll play with the new one.
Cool,
Aye.
cool.
Any new toys lately, Darryl, to review or?
I do. I have some new toys. Forgive me if there's background noise. I am at a vape shop. Let me just show you some of the fellas. Hey, say hello to YouTube. These guys are up in the UK and actually in Belfast, Ireland.
What's a crack, boys?
So I got some new stuff to play around with these days. I got a Switch mod version 2 in Vegas. It's very nice. I have the Limitless RDTA. I'm playing around with that. I had to.
What do you think of it so far?
I had to perform a little surgery on it, and now it's a great vape. I love it. I love everything about it. But this drip tip had some airflow control like sleeve that was Delrin that came down in front of my coils, and I trimmed that all the way up to the top to the O-rings, and now it's great, and I don't get to vape burnt plastic. So now I like it. Still fooling around with this SMY DNA 75. It's very technical, but and it's pulling me back into having to do some temp control, which I usually don't really care for. But so that's fun. And then Tsunami 24. You know, kind of like just using these things and getting a feel for them and seeing how I like them before I do a video. I'm not too keen on these pre-made coils that they made. They have these interesting sort of frame stapled staggered coils that are very angry. And, you know, but just some fun stuff I'm playing around with.
Dead on. What about you, Don?
Well, the only thing I really got recently is the Tsunami 24 and then the drip box. I have a couple of things on the way over from Council of Vapor from Leanne, so shout out to Leanne. Like the new RST tank they're bringing out, the Tempest, the Trident as well. So I'm just waiting for them being shipped over to play with.
Happy days. What's your thoughts on the drip box so far?
I love it. I love it. I mean, there's some really big improvements over the original drip box. I mean, the biggest improvement I can see so far is the tube that comes up from the Squonk bottle to underneath the RDA. The biggest difference is it has a wider diameter. So where you had the previous one, you couldn't use, well, it was difficult to use anything over like a 70-30 because it was too thick and it would airlock on it, or you couldn't really, once you got down to say the last 2.5 to 3 mils in the bottle, you couldn't really push the juice up to the bottom of the RDA because of an airlock. Whereas with this new tube, because it's a lot thicker, it's a bigger diameter, there's no problems whatsoever. Like I have a max VG in there and it's some really, really, really thick juice, and it's just flowing straight up underneath the RDA, no problem. And the design having actually a chip in it rather than the previous being based on your build against your battery with just a single MOSFET, it's just a lot more crack. And I mean, let's face it, it just looks awesome in the stainless steel. Like, look at that, it's class. So far loving it. Again, I wasn't too keen on the coils, the pre-built Claptons that came with it, so I'm going to rip them out. And the posts on the actual deck are press fit. So they're not built into the deck or anything, they're press fit in, so they're not sitting straight or in line with each other. They're kind of like both angled off of each other. So yeah, but the review for that should be up in the next 2 days, and I'll have some close-up photographs of it so you can see. It's hard to describe, but the posts just don't line up right, which is weird. But yeah, so far it's a solid 7 out of 10 so far.
Well, you knew what I thought about the original RDA that came with the drip box, so that's why I changed mine out all the time. So, but me, what have I got to play with recently? Got given this yesterday in work to take home and play with, to do a review on. That's the new EV Flychee. Loving this tank. So I'm seeing for flavour and dense clouds at low watts. I mean, the coils are only rated to 60 watts. I got out of 50 and it's just dense.
So does it come with stock coils only, or does it have an RBA with it?
It's got the RBA as well, so it has, and it's really weird. I actually wish I had it with me now, but I left the box in work. But it looks weird as shit to build on. So it's going to take some playing with. And they got the new RX as well, so I've been playing with it. Thinking about getting the firmware because I can put Flappy Bird on it as well, on this as well as the keyboard. So get some Flappy Bird in for when we're having our lunch break and work.
How would you compare it to the RX 200? What differences have you seen so far?
So far, the only difference jumps out is it's got the DNA 200 battery tray, and it's got the keyboard screen. You know what I mean? But like I say, I've only been playing about with like literally from last night and this morning, sort of flat out all day and work, so didn't really get much of a play. So play with it for the next couple of days and maybe do a first look and then do an in-depth once I really rip into it.
Any problems with the 510 so far with anything with a protruding pin?
No, not yet. But then again, the only thing I've had on it so far is the lychee, so you know what I mean, like I'm saying, I need to play about a bit more, put a couple of different things on it and stuff. So, but I've got the avocado. So,
have you got any stainless steel to play with?
Yes, that's what I've been using quite a lot, especially in the theorem, Darryl. I've actually been enjoying working with stainless steel. So I have. So that's what I use with this. I normally rock it in SS mode anyway. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, 316 there. But topic of conversation tonight, since we have an American in the room, I thought we could talk a wee bit about the FDA and some of the crack that's been going on over there with you. Because last week we had a bit of a discussion about the TPD over here and stuff. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's on all of our minds, and it's very pressing. And I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not an expert, and I don't have all the facts, and I don't have all the details. But what I can tell you is, yeah, what's going on over here is back on May 5th, the FDA came out with 500 pages of deeming regulations that we're still all trying to wrap our brains around fully, but it has deemed that vaping is tobacco, is a tobacco product, or the intended use of anything related to using it and vaporizing anything in e-liquid is a tobacco product. And there's issues that will eliminate, if it goes through the way it goes through, it will eliminate about 99% of all the products in vaping.
Yeah.
It's very unclear, it's very vague, it's a broad brushstroke that allows a lot of room for interpretation. And the other part of that is that for companies to comply and have products on the market, they're going to have to apply and register and put their products through all kinds of testing. And that's going to be anywhere from $300,000 on up. So most small businesses will not be able to remain in business. There's a lot of other parts to it. But put it this way, the FDA came out with this huge overreach. It's very unfair, and if we don't do anything about it, we won't be able to vape the way we know vaping. And it's already started right immediately after that. Some localities and towns and states have started to impose their own regulations. Like, for example, New Jersey is trying to impose a state law that you can only sell 3 flavors of e-liquid: menthol, tobacco, and clove. And then that's it. No other juice flavors will be allowed to be sold. Right now, in the town I live in and the next town over, Brookhaven and Islip, already passed a regulation that no more new vape shops can open. And they've been categorized as adult shops in the same category as pornography and stuff like that. So it's not fair. And it also allows a lot of latitude for interpretation, which we don't know what down the... And by the way, that was like with very little notification, and then it was on the docket, and then they voted on it, and it passed. And no opportunity to interfere with that or oppose that at all. So it's pretty scary the way things are starting to pick up speed, momentum. Seems very organized, very pre-planned, and it has us all very scared. So that's why...
What about the CN International poll that was put up today? Did you get a look at it? No?
No, I have not.
They posted it on Twitter basically, and it says, "Do you think e-cigarettes are as harmful as regular smokes?" 13% said yes, 72% said no, 13% said both bad, and 1% said both good. So yeah, there's one play about there. Like.
So you always have to throw out 1% of nutters.
No, I seen it on Facebook earlier on. Grim Green had posted it, so it's about looked interesting, like especially with the whole things that are going on over there, like so. I was out there. Or you can see it on the phone or not.
So the victory there is 72% of people surveyed said, what, vaping is less harmful? The public perception?
So, I mean, also that interview I did the other week with Chris Tucker and the other two owners of Film Vapors, and they were well behind the whole advocacy thing, and I think they're supporting it financially as well. I'm not too sure, but you're the one with all the connections over there. Any more word from any other juice companies or anything stepping up, or?
Yeah. You know, I don't have specifics, but I know that there are some very big players in the market, and they have stepped up. A lot of these juice companies have been stepping up the whole time in supporting Safada and CASA and the vaping militia and not blowing smoke, and there is a huge amount of support, and there is some big money backing, but it's going to be expensive. It's going to cost. You know, to play the political game, which this has to be won on a political level, the political game is not cheap. It requires good attorneys that are expensive. I mean, you get what you pay for with law firms, and you have to have not just any old lawyer out of law school. You have to have a law firm that understands and is connected to the power networks and is able to inject their opinion and their point of view effectively. Lobbyists cost money. Hiring a PR firm, several PR firms, just the way the state of California did. That's not cheap, and it's not going to be, the victory's not going to be won here by just a couple of wealthy, successful companies stepping up and winning advocacy for us all. It's going to take everybody doing their part, doing their share, and then some. And nobody's exempted from that.
This is it, and it's not just going to affect you over there. I mean, it will come to a point where it could affect others, especially like us over here too. Because I mean, we buy stuff from America, so we do. I mean, if you were to buy an original Velocity, it's from America. Juice lines, stuff like that. There. What do you think about that, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, it'll affect the UK in a massive way if these regulations go through in America and it stops the production. I mean, the biggest impact is obviously going to be the grandfather date to 2007. You know, if it bans all products from 2007 to now, like I said, that's 99% of the market gone. How far along has the coal bill went through or been passed, or is there any more word on where that's sitting at the moment to change the grandfather date?
I'm told that will get voted on within the next couple of weeks. As far as, no, it hasn't been voted on yet. It's on deck, though, and it's coming up soon. So we are rallying the troops to get those letters out, to sign the petitions, to get the support that it needs. And, you know, it's being handled. But again, everybody's got to jump in. You know, every day in every vape shop around the country, there's people walking in, making a purchase, and they aren't aware of these federal regulations in the U.S. that just happened. They might not have even been in the vape shop since it happened less than a month ago. And it's up to the vape shop. That's the front line of defense. That's the first interaction with vapors who aren't on Facebook, who aren't in the know. They just come in for their pack of coils and their 2 bottles of juice every couple of weeks. It's the vape shop employees that really need to reach out to them and ask a quick question. Are you aware of the advocacy issue right now with the regulations? You would be surprised how many people on a daily basis will answer that question. No, I had no idea. I was just in a vape shop yesterday, and that exact same thing happened, and I was only there for an hour. And a gentleman who's been vaping for 2 years didn't know. And he's not a youngster. The guy's in his 60s. He smoked for 40 years. He was not aware. Why? Because he doesn't come in and hang out at the vape shop. He's got stuff to do. He's busy living his life. He walks in, gets what he needs, leaves. and he's not on Facebook. So like once he found out there's, holy shit, the FDA, passed some regulations. Oh no, man, tell me all about it. And then he was reading the literature. He took that home with him, and now he's been educated. He's been made aware. That's what it's going to take.
Yeah. We were talking last week about the TV program that was on over here, Horizon. I sent you a link. Did you get to see it or anything?
Wait, what'd you send me?
The link for it was a TV program that was on the BBC Two over here, and I found it on YouTube and sent you a link. It was basically like a scientific experiment into vaping to see whether it is better than smoking and all that there, or if it is harmful.
I apologize. I did not see that.
There was a good sort of comment from it. Now, Johnny, I know you work in Total Vapor. I work in the Ciggy shop. Since that, there over the past 2 weeks here, we've seen quite a bit more traffic coming through the shop. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a lot of influx. I mean, there's more and more people coming in now going, okay, I watched this program on the BBC. They've now said, or they've proved that it is 95% less harmful for you than cigarettes, so I want to now kick the habit. And, there is a lot more people coming in since that program was put on. I mean, I don't know what, again, over in America, I don't know whether, if there's any programs or any documentaries going on of the science division over there saying, right, well, we have tested it, we have friends in the UK that have tested this is now 95% safer. We're in the UK at the minute where we had all the TPD coming in, the Tobacco Products Directive. Our government is now saying, okay, well, the TPD, the equivalent of the FDA for these regulations, what we're going to have to do now is change those because somebody sat down and wrote those restrictions and those guidelines before we knew this was 95% safer than smoking. So they're now putting a bill through to annul, to get rid of the TPD and start over again. I don't know what way that would be working in America, whether there's any universities or anybody pushing towards that as well.
Hopefully, as of yet, we don't have anything solid like that. We've had a lot of negative and cooked up research, quote unquote studies that turned out to get debunked because they were just basically paid for by a tobacco company here or there. We have had these reports that get publicized that it's more harmful than smoking, and we've all had to go to our friends and family and convince them, no, I'm not vaping pure benzene and formaldehyde. But no, we don't have anything as concrete as that yet. But and there haven't been enough. There's been a couple of people that stood out in media and questioned the FDA deeming regulations, but not enough attention in the media. Certainly not. It's not a popular position to take for news channels. They'd rather bash it and smack it around. There was, however, a comedy piece done by TBS that was Samantha Bee's Full Frontal comedy show, and that is on YouTube. And that was actually, they went around at a vape expo in Connecticut a couple of months ago. I was at the expo, and they had a whole film crew. And they said they were interested in the regulations and the advocacy, and then they turned it into just like a funny comedy piece. And it is, you could chuckle at it. Unfortunately, they weren't genuine in their intention, how they presented themselves. And it makes a mockery out of vaping. So stuff like that is, we see more negative stuff in the news than we do any positive stuff. Yeah. And the whole intention of vaping is lost on the media here in America, that it's saving lives. I just think it's a cool fad that kids are doing.
It's strange where the stance on vaping is so different depending on what country you're in. Where you're saying there the media and the government at the minute are saying smoking or saying vaping as a negative thing that is potentially harmful. Whereas if you have the UK, our top scientific leaders, whatever they want to be called, are saying, right, well, we've conducted these studies. We've actually went down to they had breakdowns on a cellular level. Here's skin samples of your lungs, and here's how it heals normally. Here's how it heals when you're vaping. Here's how it heals when you're smoking. So there's your clear evidence. If one country can do that type of program and say, okay, well, yes, okay, well, homework. Let's share here. You know what I mean? and take it from there rather than just saying, well, no, we'll do our own thing and see what happens.
Well, that there makes sense, you know what I mean? But again, the government wants their tax money, you know what I mean? So, especially in America, that's where
They
you
do.
make your money, isn't it?
They do, and here's how testing usually gets done in America. The company that wants to push a product out into the market does its testing, its clinical trials, its double-blind, research, and then presents that to the FDA, pays to have the FDA then get a panel of experts to review that research, and then if those experts agree that, I'm not an expert, I haven't been in this industry, but that's basically how you pay the FDA to get your thing approved, and then you pay for the experts to review it, and then the quote-unquote research is there. So that's how drugs get approved. And then later on,
it's a strange situation.
Yeah.
When it's there, here's the evidence, here's the coursework, here's it done for you. As a country, it's safer. Why can't they just take that on board rather than having to get you to pay millions and millions and millions of pounds for something that's already been done?
Logically, you would think that to be the case, but no, follow the money and follow where the money is being made and being lost, and that's how you have your answer. Very simple in the U.S.
I suppose the difference is too, I mean, in the US you have to pay for your health program and stuff like that as well. So that's where they'll be losing money as well, because if people stop smoking, take up vaping, there's less chance of lung problems, chest problems, whatever. Whereas over here, we have a free health service. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't make a dent there, sort of, in a way.
Right. So a healthy person is worth zero to the medical industry here in the United States. But if you have cancer, you're worth a good $100,000 to $250,000. That's a good patient.
Yeah.
You know, they're worth a fortune to everybody related to that person before they're bled out and finally die. I'm going to be a little vicious here when I talk about this. If you've ever had anybody pass away of illnesses, you could be a little bitter. But there's no incentive for people to be healthy and live longer here. However, I will say this. It was the lawsuits, the smoking-related illnesses lawsuits that were being filed in each state, and this is why the states were very happy to just do away with all of those, because people were suing. But what about people who are on public assistance, like welfare and Medicare? And then they had smoking-related illnesses. Well, how are you going to? So the states were suing the tobacco companies for all of the medical costs of all these people who are on public assistance for medical attention. Now that got all washed away in the big tobacco settlement agreement of 1998. So if you really dig into this a little further below the surface, you could see where the states are paying the costs for it. They are. But then they just pass those costs right back to the big four tobacco companies, and they have their compensation for it. So it's a wash. The only problem is they only figured out one side of it. Who's going to pay for all these medical costs? How about when you quit smoking, you eliminate all those illnesses, a potential for those illnesses to happen in the future. That's a better way to save money, but we don't have a health system that's set up that way, nor do we want one. Anyway, we're getting into an area where I'm really talking out of my area of knowledge. So.
No worries, Bobby. Well, sure, we'll wrap that up for the serious stuff. As I showed there, I got 2 juice lines from a good friend of mine and Darryl's, Jen Harmon from Hard Vapes. 2 other juice. So what I'll do is I'll read through them quickly, and I'll let you 2 pick one. I've got dripper set up and all, and we'll drip it and give it a first impression. What do you think about that?
All right.
Yeah?
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds good. Go for it.
Good. First one. Straw water. To some, it's like putting a strawberry Jolly Rancher in one cheek and a watermelon one in the other. As you let the flavours mix on your tongue, 2 others, it tastes something like a daiquiri. Blue Dawn, creamy yogurt with blueberry surprise in every bite, or a vape if you prefer. Rasmon, rich sweet raspberries submerged in the tang of fresh homemade lemonade on a hot day. Not too tart, not too sweet, just right. Geek juice, light creamy custard with a light peanut butter note to round the whole thing out. And Grump, grape soda gets upgraded in this awesome vape. That was the first juice link. And there's no
That's what I love
card
about
to
this
it.
entry. Some of the descriptions of juices are like writing a story. You know, rather than just saying strawberry cream. You're like, oh, delicate strawberry with hints of majestic awesomeness wrapped in cream. I mean, just say what it is, you know? I don't want to go on a magical trip. I want something that's going to taste nice and vape well.
Found a juice card for this one. PB Awesome. They say there is no wrong way to eat a peanut butter cup. This vape will take your peanut butter love to a whole new level. Strawberry is strawberry shortcake, a rich, decadent pound cake piled high with fresh strawberries, sweetened just right with mounds of homemade whipped cream. Butter pecan, pecan salted, ever so slightly and roasted in oven to bring out their natural buttery richness. The vape will melt in your mouth. SMT, the vape will send you right back to your childhood, sitting cross-legged on a floor watching cartoons in this Saturday morning throwback. And country, blackberry and walnuts put them together with a hint of tobacco, you get a delightful though unexpected blend that is sure to please.
Love it.
There you go. So, which one do you want me to drip?
They all sound amazing.
I've had the last four you mentioned, starting with PB Awesome, that strawberry,
Yeah.
and the walnut raspberry one, tobacco. That was really interesting. I've had those. The first four I haven't tried. That's her new line.
Right, well then we'll try the first four then, since you haven't tried them yet. So it can be a true first impression. Straw Water, Blue Dawn, Rasmon, Geek Juice, or Grump.
Well, you're going to have to go with Grump because it just matches you perfectly, boy.
What are you trying to say, you bearded big bollocks?
Listen, you can grow a beard, come back to me.
I can grow a beard, but my missus doesn't like one. So.
Oh, yes, we believe you. So where were these lines from again? What company? Where'd they come from?
Hard vape. It's a Jane Harmon's is in America, isn't it? Or is it Canada? Darryl.
I'm back. Hardy Vape. I believe she's in Virginia or Maryland. And yeah, it's HARDVAPE.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story. Jen quit smoking, vaping, something like 4 or 5 years ago, and she's very sensitive to flavorings, and so she was finding that she had a reaction to a lot of different juice lines that she was trying, until she narrowed down what's in these juices, and then she was able to figure out which actual flavorings set her allergies off and which didn't, and so those juices are like. What do I want to say? For somebody, if you ever know anybody who's got sensitivities to flavorings, hers are very mild on the flavorings, very mild, if any at all, sweeteners. And she tends to go with a more they are the flavorings from the different companies, but she goes with the ones that are like the least, I don't know.
Yeah. This one here actually does smell like a grape soda. The artwork is pretty nice as well.
So if you could hold your hand right behind it so it focuses in a little bit better. All right.
Yeah.
Glass bottle, got the warning labels.
It's got everything on it.
Has it got a child safety cap on the top of it?
Yep. Child safety.
And you can open that okay?
I can't. I'm a big boy now, so I am. Even drinking big boy's juice. That is really subtle. We'll see what you mean, Doc. It smells more than what the flavour is when you vape it. The vape is very subtle, but when you smell it, it is literally like opening a can of like grape soda.
Cool. Is it perfumey?
Yeah, you can literally smell the grape and all through it. But it's like literally it's subtle on your tongue. It's a really smooth one. It's one you could vape all day and you wouldn't sort of get sick of it.
Nice. That sounds like the kind of flavor that would be good in a tank.
Yeah.
Grape soda, huh? Interesting.
Yep. Very nice. So I'm looking forward to getting tucked into all these actually. And it has to wait until the weekend. So, but anyway, gentlemen, I think we should wrap it up for tonight. Next week is going to be a bit of a surprise show. I've talked to 2 vape shop owners already, and I'm going to talk to a couple more. And we might even try and get a couple of American vape shop owners on as well, and have a few vape shop owners in for a bit of a chat. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it'd be good to get their take on what's going on in the world at the minute.
Yeah.
To see how they're going to be affected.
Want to talk to a vape shop owner?
Next week.
Oh, yeah, okay. Got one right here. Hold on.
Hey, buddy.
Alright, man.
Hey guys, how are you?
That's Paul
How's it
John
going?
in Ireland. I just wanted to say, before he owned 2 vape shops, he used to work at a gas station around the corner from my house. I used to buy my cigarettes from him.
Yeah. I remember him now.
That guy right there.
So it was his fault.
Sorry.
But now he owns 2 vape shops and he doesn't sell cigarettes anymore.
Well, if he wants to come on the show next week, he can.
Maybe, if I'm here.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, man.
Enjoy.
Alright, man. So, right, lads, finish the night off with a big cloud. What are we using? All our avocados again, or something different?
Avocado.
Avocados, why not?
Nice.
Right, guys, thanks for watching. Catch us next week.